One of the interesting things I found out hanging out with Rasheed the Motivator from Chicago is Rasheed didn't know in Pittsburgh we had dollar stores too. He thought Chicago was the only place with dollar stores.
I did. I did. And I said it with such proudness, like, it's only here. I'm going to take it to a place where it's only, everything's a dollar. And you told me, like, they're everywhere. I'm like, wow.
Hello, I'm Dominic Damaski, and this is Discovering Inspiration. On this episode, we leave Pittsburgh, PA behind and travel to the big city of Chicago, Illinois to meet Rasheed the Motivator, a motivational speaker and rising star. Rasheed Sami is a man from the Southside of Chicago, a recording artist, youth counselor, clothing designer, and loving father. Rasheed believes everyone has greatness within, and this is the time to unleash your dream to the world. Rasheed, why are you so passionate about working with the inner city youth?
So passionate to work with the inner city youth because, well, I was one of those inner city youth dealing with the issues of the neighborhood, issues with home life. So I wanted to become something that I needed. So that's my why. And your why is your daily motivation for getting up and doing things regardless of the obstacles you face. So that's definitely why I do it.
I gotta thank you for picking me up. Here I am, a guy from Pittsburgh that you've never met, says, I'm a fan of you. I want to come see what you're doing. And here you are. You're willing to pick me up and bring me to your house, take me to the community.
Definitely.
What the heck were you thinking?
I was thinking that this is another brother that's on the same mission with me, and we were very like-minded in ideologies of motivation, and you just seem like a wild card, and I'm a wild card too, so that's how we got here.
One of the interesting things I found out hanging out with Rasheed the Motivator from Chicago is Rasheed didn't know in Pittsburgh we had dollar stores too. He thought Chicago was the only place with dollar stores.
I did, and I said it with such proudness, like, it's only here. I'm gonna take it to a place where it's only, everything's a dollar. And you told me, like, they're everywhere. I'm like, wow, I need to get out of Chicago more.
And
Sure.
yeah, I think that proves we all need to get out of our own bubble and see what else the world has to offer. You said when you were growing up, you needed a Rasheed the Motivator. Why? What does that mean?
I needed someone to believe in me and motivate me and inspire me. I was a very shy, reserved kid. Really stayed to myself. Very emotional kid as well. And I just needed somebody there to inspire me. Unfortunately, I was staying in a tough home situation. 7 brothers and sisters in a 3-bedroom apartment, Parkway Gardens. If you don't know them, go Google them. You'll find out where they are. Great place to live, but nevertheless, dealing with the obstacles of the community, the violence, the drugs, the things that come with a community without a lot of opportunities. I found myself trying to pick myself off the mat a lot, just being inspired to overcome what seems to be an obstacle with no answer, no solution.
For Rasheed, this video wasn't about promoting himself. It was about giving back to a community that made him the man he is today. What does it mean to you doing a motivational video? Now you're Rasheed the Motivator outside of your high school Hirsch.
Wow, I can't believe it. This is where everything started for me. I think what led to me like unlocking the box of speaking was I was on the debate team sophomore through my senior year. So I learned a lot about myself, a lot about my talent, a lot about my skill, a lot about myself, going through teenage life here,
right,
on top of what was going on with family life in the neighborhood I was staying in. So I learned so much, man. This is where my humble beginning started.
Now, when I was in high school, I was getting beat up and having butter wiped in my hair. And now you say this is where your humble
Yeah.
beginning started. So how so? What was high school like for you?
High school was a learning experience unlike any other. For me, and I'm pretty sure with everyone that's going through high school, is you're trying to figure out who are you.
Rasheed is loved by his students and in his community. So when De'Ara and her friends stopped by to say hi, we took a break and Rasheed the Motivator offered some words of encouragement. What message would you give to the guys like me or the guys that didn't fit in? What message would you give to them when they're in high school to get them through?
To believe in yourself. I think in these four walls, I learned about myself was I had to be convinced that I have greatness and that I have a purpose. And sometimes when you forget about who you are or what you're meant to do, you get caught up into trying to be someone else.
I heard a story, I hear it from time to time. It's about two twins, and the twins grow up with an alcoholic father. And one twin says, I'm never going to use alcohol, and the other twin becomes an alcoholic. So growing up in the inner city and seeing the violence and the things you saw, the drug deals and everything going on, how do you decide, no, that's not gonna be me. I'm gonna paint a different picture.
Well, you see the repercussions of it. you see the live repercussions of what is it like to have an addiction that straps you and chains you to the community and actually do the community damage. So when you see results of friends or family that's dealing with alcohol issues or drug issues, you take that challenge on right then and there. When you see it, you make a decision up in your mind and say, am I gonna walk this path? Is this gonna be my story? Is this gonna be my truth? And many times there are, I think, many kids that witness and experience being in those neighborhoods as, oh, I'm not gonna let it bother me. But you gotta take it personal. I took it personal that I was in a community where there was no opportunity, where there were issues plaguing the community that stopped the community from vibing, growing. So I took it personal. I took it like, look, I'm gonna walk out of here and I'm gonna be more than a kid from the hood.
There you go. There you go. Good left hand. Good left hand. Pretty good. Cash.
There you go, he's on now.
Cash. There you go.
Finish it, man, finish strong. There you go, bread and butter. We're on the way back to Rasheed's for dinner, and on the way back he saw a young man out there playing basketball by himself, and he said, let's go. And like that, Rasheed hopped out and we went out and shot some hoops with him. Really good time. You have such a connection with all these kids. What makes you hop out of the car and decide to play hoops with a young man?
Well, I can see, as a clinician and as a motivator, I can assess situations where I know when a youth is in need of a moment. And, sitting outside playing basketball while it's getting dark, while it's cold, is a moment you see and you assess and you look at it and you just say, wow, this is going on. And, I didn't have to stop, but I chose to because I understood that in those moments when you're facing isolation like the kid was doing playing basketball, that he needed something. He needed something. Even if it was just somebody that believed in him, he needed that.
What's a message you would give to kids? Because when I talk to kids, they fall asleep while I'm talking. Why do they like you so much? What kind of message you giving them?
I'm just transparent with them. I'm just sharing my story in all of its details. I have no shame about what chapter 1 and 2 was like, because I had this belief that the rest of my life was going to be different because of my mindset then, in the moments that I was experiencing what I was experiencing in the neighborhood that I was living in. So just being transparent, cracking a joke, throw a joke in there, like, hey, trust me, I've made that mistake. You've made multiple times, and what that does is they're able to start reflecting, because now they know, well, there's someone that has done something like me. They made a mistake. Now I could forgive myself for making that mistake and learn from it, and I could walk away better from it. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why they were at least willing to hear me out. Now, I can't say they always listen to me neither or not go to sleep, but one thing I know is truthfulness and real life perspective, and just being transparent always helps.
At this point, Rasheed opened up to me and drove me past the laundromat where his mom used to work overnight, and he drove me by the neighborhood where he was raised. Rasheed brought me to meet J-Mo. He considers J-Mo one of his mentors. And
I don't know why.
and J-Mo, you've seen some growth out of this gentleman in the last few years. Can you tell me about that?
The thing that I saw in Rasheed right away, I saw a fire. A drive that was unique, and it was very genuine and authentic. I mean, the guy really wanted not just the best for himself, but he wanted the best for the community.
We were just at the park hooping, and you know Rasheed well.
I had to drop him off. Man. He got a little close, but I had to go ahead and drop the dagger, man. But it was close.
Fade away,
man. He can hoop, man.
That's what's up.
How do you think the kids respond to him?
I've seen it. It's not how I think. It's what I've actually witnessed. The kids receive him more than well. He's a guy that when school starts, they come looking for. Of course, they go looking for breakfast, lunch, and then they look for Mr. Rasheed. And they're willing enough, because of his level of vulnerability, they're willing to come to him with anything and ask for whatever it is that they need in the social emotional sense. His vulnerability allows them to see him as not just an adult or another man in the building, but as an ally. And they're open enough to make the changes that they need to make for self because of him. They see his growth, they see what he does, and the one thing that I like to look at is how do we mirror our lives for our youth. And he presents himself with that honest, open, this is who I am, these are the changes I need to make, and instead of me telling you about the changes you need to make, watch me change myself. And in mirroring, the kids actually, I'm not going to say kids, the young men follow through with that. They're willing to challenge themselves, they're willing to challenge him, and conversely, he's willing to challenge them. And through that, it's that whole thing, iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel, and the only way you can cut a diamond is with another diamond. And this brother shows up every time in his diamond state.
You're so passionate about helping everybody in the inner city, helping the youth, changing your community. What can an outsider like me do to contribute to the cause?
Well, that's a good question. It lets me know that you and I see eye to eye with the same mission. I think the very first step is being able to have this conversation, being able to be transparent, understanding that there's a need of a village, and that we can't raise the future just me and you. We need other people that have information. And what youth tend to do is they take a piece from here and they take a piece from there, and they just start piecing the puzzle in, helping them understand themselves and build their character.
I'm a fan. I found this guy on the internet.
Definitely did.
And so what I want to know is, how can we support you?
The best way to support me is to tell someone. Let somebody know who Rasheed the Motivator is, the work that I'm doing here in Chicago. I'm more than a motivational speaker, and I think when you go to my website, you can see that. regarding the music, regarding motivating through just a shirt. I feel like I do it all regarding motivation, and I just have a unique story. So go check it out, Rasheed The Motivator, Facebook, Instagram, and RasheedTheMotivator.com.
You hear that? RasheedTheMotivator.com. Rasheed The Motivator, thank you very much for bringing me into your home, bringing me into your community, and just sharing your story with me. This is Dom Damasky, Rasheed The Motivator, Discovering Inspiration. If you like the story, please share, please tell a friend, and please subscribe.